Good morning. Today's the feast day of Saint Hilary. Saint Hilary is a man, kind of a funny name for a man, but the word or the name Hilary comes from the Latin hilaritatis, which means hilarity, right? So like silliness or funniness or something that makes you laugh, like me. Oh, come on. Anyway. I always remember the words of Archbishop Gregory at my ordination. The homily is not a stand-up comedy routine. Got it. So Saint Hilary was one of the early church fathers in Poitiers, France. I think that's how you pronounce it. And he was a staunch defender of the divinity of Jesus Christ. He was known as the Malleus Arianorum. That's more Latin. The Malleus is a hammer of the Arians. The Arians were heretics that followed the priest Arius, who said that Jesus was not divine, that he was only man. And so he staunchly defended the divinity of Christ, something that I think we need to still do today. We need to defend the divinity of Christ, recognizing that Jesus Christ is true God and true man, right? He's not just some self-help guru. He's not just some make-you-feel-good person, but he's the Son of God incarnate. In the gospel passage, the people are recognizing this. They come to Jesus because they recognize there's something special about him. There's something unique about him. And so they bring this paralyzed man, and what does Jesus do? He says, your sins are forgiven. The Pharisees can't stand that. They can't take that. How can you possibly do that? And so Jesus says, okay, fine, you don't believe me? Paralyzed guy, get up and walk. And they're all astonished. And Jesus is saying, which of these is harder to believe? That I could tell a paralyzed man to get up and walk, which you just saw, or that I can forgive his sins? We kind of see the union there. It's called the hypostatic union. The divine and the human come together, right? He heals him physically, but he also heals him spiritually. He heals this man, body and spirit. And so today we live in a time in which I think people do kind of deny that Jesus is really God, right? Deny the fact that Jesus could really ask something of us. We hear it all the time. My God would never do that. My God would never say that. My God would never judge. We have kind of our own heresies of the day. We have our own Ariuses. We have our own priests that teach things that are silly. And bishops that kind of get on board with them and they're like, yeah, hey, let's teach this silly stuff. Especially like all the gender stuff. Which if you think about that, that's denying humanity, right? It's denying the reality of who we are. And so we have to ask ourselves, who is Christ? He is true God, he is true man. What does that mean? He took on our flesh to be like us so that we could be like him, so that we can take on his divinity. Are we really able to do that? In the first reading of the Hebrews, St. Paul is talking about this idea of entering into rest with God. But as I swore in my wrath, they shall not enter into my rest. That's not in the Old Testament, that's in the New Testament, that's in the Gospel, right? It's in the Canticle of Mary, the Magnificat. As I swore in my wrath, they shall not enter into my rest. Well, why would we not enter into the rest of God? Because we've denied him. We've denied who he is. We've denied that which he asks of us. And so let us faithfully follow after the Lord. Let us faithfully proclaim his goodness, and let us faithfully proclaim that he is true God and true man.